For the first 30 seconds, imagine this as a warning rather than a story, because this video reveals exactly what would happen if you woke up trapped in a Saw-style game. How every choice would slowly collapse into despair. How hope would be weaponized against you. How time itself would become your enemy. And why this specific trap was designed so that survival was never truly possible, only delayed, making this one of the most terrifying psychological scenarios ever conceived, where fear, guilt, pain, and inevitability intertwine until the final irreversible moment that no human mind can escape unchanged. The moment awareness returns, it does not arrive gently, because consciousness in a Saw trap is not a gift but a curse. A sudden realization that your body feels wrong, your breathing sounds too loud, the air smells of rust and damp concrete, and your instincts scream that something is deeply broken about reality itself. As if the world is tilted just enough to let hell leak through the cracks. Your eyes adjust slowly, revealing a room that feels deliberately unfinished, walls stained by age and something darker, chains embedded into the floor with mechanical precision, and devices positioned not randomly but thoughtfully, like pieces on a chessboard where every move has already been anticipated. Fear does not arrive all at once. Instead, it builds in layers, starting with confusion, then unease, then the creeping understanding that this place was built for suffering, because nothing here exists for comfort or accident, and everything around you has a purpose that will soon become clear. Time stretches unnaturally seconds, dragging like minutes, collapsing into heartbeats while your mind races faster than your body can follow, desperately trying to recall how you got here, what mistake you made, what sin you committed that justified this moment, because in a Saw trap, guilt is not optional, it is part of the mechanism. Then comes the explanation, not spoken by a person but delivered coldly through recorded certainty. A voice stripped of empathy and urgency, calmly outlining the rules of a game that was never meant to be fair, explaining that this trap exists to teach a lesson, to force appreciation for life through unbearable sacrifice, while the irony sinks in that life is being reduced to numbers, timers, pressure gauges, and mechanical thresholds that do not care about regret or pleading. The trap reveals itself piece by piece, gears twitching awake, restraints tightening subtly, sharp edges glinting just enough to promise pain without delivering it yet, because anticipation is part of the punishment. Panic explodes when the countdown begins, not as a dramatic alarm but as a steady reminder that time is bleeding away. Because the worst traps are not loud, they are patient, allowing your imagination to do more damage than any blade ever could. Your body reacts before your thoughts can catch up, heart slamming against your ribs, muscles straining against restraints that were designed by someone who understood human strength down to the smallest margin, allowing just enough movement to create hope while ensuring failure if you rush or hesitate even slightly. Every option presented feels impossible because Saw traps are built around moral and physical paradoxes, forcing you to choose between unbearable pain now or catastrophic consequences later, between harming yourself in ways you never believed possible or watching the mechanism complete its cycle with surgical indifference. The human mind begins to fracture under this pressure, cycling through denial, anger, bargaining, and despair at lightning speed. Because there is no time to process trauma when survival demands action, and yet action itself feels like surrendering a piece of your humanity. Pain, when it arrives, is not cinematic or clean, it is raw, invasive, and disorienting, overwhelming the senses until thought becomes fragmented. And the trap feeds on this confusion, because precision is required at the exact moment your body is screaming the loudest. Blood, sweat, and tears blend into something primal, reducing existence to sensation and instinct, while the voice promised that freedom was possible, even as the design of the trap quietly proves that survival requires more than the human body can give. As the countdown accelerates, hope mutates into desperation, because you realize the trap was never about escape. It was about revelation, about forcing you to understand something too late. Whether it is the value of life, the weight of past choices, or the cruelty of believing that suffering automatically leads to redemption. This is where the true horror reveals itself, not in the machinery, but in the certainty that the game was decided before you ever woke up. That the illusion of choice was simply another layer of torture meant to break your spirit completely. Your thoughts drift to the outside world, to ordinary moments that now feel impossibly distant: sunlight through a window, the sound of laughter, the freedom of movement you once wasted without noticing. And this contrast becomes unbearable because the trap does not just threaten your body, it forces you to mourn your life while you are still technically alive. Regret floods in with crushing clarity, every mistake magnified, every ignored warning screaming for attention. As the trap tightens its grip both physically and psychologically, the final moments are not dramatic in the way movies promise. They are quiet, heavy, and suffocating, filled with the understanding that survival was never the point, because this trap was engineered to prove that some systems are designed to consume, not to teach, and that no amount of willpower can overcome a structure built entirely around inevitability. The countdown reaches its end not with explosion or chaos, but with mechanical completion, a final movement that signals the end of the game, leaving behind silence that feels louder than any scream. And this is why no one survives this one. Not because the body always fails, but because the trap itself destroys something deeper, leaving scars that would persist even if escape were possible, proving that the most disturbing saw traps are not about death, but about forcing the realization that some games are rigged from the start, and that true horror lies in understanding it far too late. If this story unsettled you, disturbed you, or made you question how you would react under impossible pressure, then you are exactly where this video wanted you to be. If you want more terrifying psychological horror, deep dives into disturbing scenarios, and stories that linger in your mind long after the screen goes dark, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment with your thoughts, and share this video with someone who believes they would survive, because some traps are designed to prove that belief fatally wrong.